Shabbat Shalom and Good Shabbos. Welcome again to the Lehrman Chapel here at Temple Ohev Shalom in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I am Rabbi Peter Kessler. I'm joined by our musical director, Christopher Prestia, and we're here to bring Shabbat to you. Let's begin by welcoming Shabbat by lighting our Shabbat candles on page 120. Page 125. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished? Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burden that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause. If only for this day, let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Shalom Aleichem, page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sechem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Continue with Baruch Hu on page 264. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhma poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et ha'kochavim, b'mishmorotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shema, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world. In each age we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment we stand face to face with truth. In each age we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment the knowing heart is filled with wonder. In each age the children of Torah become its builders, and and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. The Shema is on page 267. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta, page 268. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom ha'levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam Beshiftecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beinenecha, uktabtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha, leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, Vitem Kedoshim Lelohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hotzeti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Lihiot Lachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 269. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound. Before our eyes there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart, there is good enough to exalt the soul. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves. Long ago we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. Michamocha, page 270. Let's continue together at the bottom of page 271. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru, page 272. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, l'dorotam berit May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue now with Shalom Rav on page 282. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashal Shabbat Shalom. After the revelation at Sinai, after the giving of the Ten Commandments, after the thunder and lightning and the mountain covered in a cloud of smoke, what could possibly come next? What could follow that spectacular event? Rules and regulations, ordinary, mundane, everyday rules about how to live in a society. And so the contrast between last week's portion, Yitro, full of lofty principles accompanied by fireworks, and this week's portion, Mishpatim, laws on poverty and damages and personal injury, is almost too extreme. One moment is filled with drama and divine majesty, and the next seems like the ancient equivalent of municipal ordinances. At first glance, all these mishpatim, these rules that Moses is instructed to set before the Israelite people, seem so ordinary, not the stuff of divine pronouncements. But upon reading them carefully, we find that they are the beginning of a legal structure that will uphold this society and every society until the present day. No society can live on lofty principles alone. Society needs rules and standards to regulate commerce and other interactions. It needs limits to restrict baser human instincts, and it needs a system to adjudicate disputes. Mishpatim takes us down from the mountain to the presentation of laws that will guide and govern. The laws set out in Mishpatim are not presented systematically, but rather are arranged by analogy and association. They are not divided neatly into categories we might impose upon them. They may seem to be disorganized or confusing, but in reality, understanding their inner meaning is why these laws continue to be a part of our society. One of my favorites is this law, from Leviticus 24, verse 19 through 20. A person who inflicts injury on his fellow, as he did so, shall be done to him. A fracture for a fracture, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Now, taken literally, this could mean, as Tevye the milkman in the Shalom Aleichem stories is quoted as saying, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, yeah, then all we'll have left is a blind and toothless world. But mishpatim, these laws, statutes, and ordinances are not meant to be taken literally, but taken subjectively and followed through their intended meaning and not their literal one. An eye for an eye simply means the punishment must fit the crime. If one kills his neighbor's donkey, the punishment couldn't be that the perpetrator is put to death, but rather that the punishment for killing an animal must be remunerative punishment, and not one so serious as to require the death penalty. Similarly, the damage to crops must be financial rather than capital, and contained in this portion are the laws about caring for the disadvantaged, the widow and the orphan, as well as bribery and false testimony. In short, some of the 10 commandments of last week's portion are addressed, but often are left up to the judicial minds and the common sense of the community. While they may seem straightforward and simple to interpret, they really are all subject to interpretation. That in itself is the beauty of Torah, not to take the words literally, but to turn them over and over to try to find the true meaning of these sacred words. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. And now let's turn to page 371 as we continue with the Mishaberach prayer. We ask God's blessings on those in our community and our families who are sick and in need of healing. We ask God's blessings on those who continue to be on the front lines, taking care of our health and taking care of us. We also ask God's blessings on those of us whose souls are wounded, whose afflictions are not seen on the outside but felt on the inside. May God bring healing to us all, and we say, Baruch Ata Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, Adonai, our God who heals the sick, and we say, Amen. Let's continue now with Aleinu on page 586. Aleinu Shmeach Ladona Kola Tekedula Leotze Breshit Shalom. Rabbi to those who have departed this earth, our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, and those who have died at this season in years past. On this Shabbat, we remember the yardsides of Helene Beck, Hilda Baturin Bennett, Saul Berliner, Hyman Blank, Lillian Blinn, Francine E. Brenner, Barbara Brown, Leroy J. Brown, Pauline S. Claster, Adelia Kulianovs, Marcia Feldman, Marianne Flack, Muriel Fleischman, Pauline Hollander, Hannah Klein, Nathan B. Liebman, Jeffrey Magid, Martin Pepper, Robin Rokoff, Rose Rubin, Jonathan Sachs, Ron Schwartz, Alan F. Teplitz, Irving Weber, Benjamin Zalman. For those that have been named, and for those you may name within your own hearts, we recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'galo b'zman kariv v'yimaru amen, yehesh shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam omei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yikromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei kudsho b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yama v'yimaru amen, yehesh lomo rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimaru amen, oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all of us who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved, and we say, Amen. Our closing hymn is Ein Keloheinu, and Ein Keloheinu is found on page 626. Blessings on our congregational family. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our mothers and fathers, grant us a Shabbat filled with joy and peace, and a week ahead filled with good tidings and good health. And we say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom.